Hey everyone, and welcome to the results video for the Bobkart contest. In this contest all the players had to create a ride which resembles a Bobkart ride. Now Bobkarts, they're actually powered vehicles, so they usually don't have a lot of big elevation changes, and they travel around in a half shell track. Now, I have a picture of the real life version of this ride. Here you can see one of these, here you can see the half shell track, here you can see the vehicle, and has this hose to the back, or this, well, basically a trolley to the back, which actually connects to a powered rail alongside the track to get its power. Now, in this video, I will show you all the entries that we received. I will start with the one that got the lowest score from the voters, and I'll finish by announcing who is the winner of this round. Alright, in 9th place we have this entry from Womdevil. I believe it's the first entry from Womdevil. And Womdevil created this Bobkart over here. Now it has a roof over the entire track. Kind of like the one in Toverland, which has the same. And yeah, there's also this Alpine coaster which runs alongside it. Now personally, I'm not really sure if it's a good idea to make two rides which use the same vehicles right next to each other. It actually confused me a bit in the beginning when I first saw this entry, because I thought they were both the same ride. So maybe something to keep in mind. Now I believe the Bobkart only runs in this section, and on top here there's only the Alpine coaster. But I'm not completely 100% sure. Yeah, also a chairlift and several other rides in this entry. Quite a lot of elevation change, and overall for a first entry, I think this is a pretty good entry, especially the landscaping. Alright, next up we have the entry from Mega Zubat. Now, Mega Zubat also created a nice landscape here. Quite a lot of brown land here, also with the new wall texture that was added in the OpenRCT2. Yeah, I quite like how this Bobkart is the centerpiece for this park. It travels throughout this entire land here, which is pretty nice. I also quite like the supports that were done here for this little bridge. Now, we also have quite a few buildings here, and we also have this mini golf. Now, what you can definitely see is a lot of Rollercoaster Tycoon 1 tricks. Quite a lot of houses built using land, also with lots of these tunnels. And you can also see the same over here. Alright, next up is the entry from BE Player. Now, overall, I think this entry really looks wonderful. I love the houses with all their colors here. And I definitely love the overall landscaping in the map. That just looks really nice. So I have a nice little waterfall here. And yeah, there's just lots of nice stuff to see. Now, what I think drags down the score a little bit is that the speed of this Bobkart is just really low. You definitely want these rides to go a little bit faster. I think this is definitely way too slow for a Bobkart. And there's something else. Here you can see this accelerator coaster goes all the way to the top here, and then it just flies through the track here. Especially in this section, the speed is just way too high. And I think a lot of people, saw this as something they didn't really like when voting on the park. But once again, I think the decoration in this map is super awesome. It's just these two characteristics of these rides dragging the score down a little bit. But yeah, I also love this teacups ride here. Love the landscaping. So yeah, definitely lots of nice stuff to see in the park. Alright, next up is the entry from Jan the Man 227. He created this entry with the Emerald City. Now, and of course there's also a Bobkart in the map. Now it actually starts over here. And I quite like what Jan the Man did with these vehicles. It looks like he combined the vehicles with this single rail coaster train. And yeah, to make it look a little bit longer and give it a different shape. I think that actually is a really cool trick. And I really like how he did that. I think the layout for the ride also pretty nice. I quite like the layout. Although, yeah, I'm not really sure if it's a good idea to basically hide one half of the track. I think from here it's the ride or the vehicles just get teleported back to the station. Probably would have been nicer to actually have a return track somewhere in the map. Maybe a missed opportunity. Now, also quite nice map decoration here. Although when you do something like this, maybe it's nicer to actually have an actual wall here instead of the void. Not really sure. Yeah, this also wouldn't look nice. Yeah, it looks a little bit weird with just the void here. This probably also isn't the right solution. Now, and something which I saw some people comment on was that the colors of the map, some of them at least, are a bit saturated. So some parts look really bright. Maybe that might be something to keep in mind when choosing a custom palette for your map. But overall, map has some nice rides. And I especially like this farm section over here. That's really nice. Alright, next up is the entry from P2. Now, I really liked this map. I think the layout for the Bobkart is really nice. I love how it travels through the landscape here, and definitely a main focus for the park. It also has gotten a nice roof over it. I quite like the track combination that was used to make this roof, but also the supports. Yeah, I think it just has a nice layout for it too. I also like that for most of the track, actually, the dinghy slide track was used. And only for the helixes, this bobsleigh track. Yeah, and definitely a really nice version of this ride. Now, I also quite like the buildings that were made. I think this has a very unique feel to it. And there's also some other nice rides. I really like this merry-go-round. Yeah, also a nice picnic area over here. And overall, yeah, everywhere you look, there's just beautiful rides to see. Really nice work. Alright, then we have a tie for third place. Now, this entry is from Lurker. And yeah, Lurker also made this really cool, funky and trippy map. Yeah, here in the middle, of course, there's this Bobkart ride. Now, probably for a Bobkart ride, maybe it does have a little bit too much bobsleigh track. But yeah, I do like how it's really the center point for the map. It really dominates everything else. Now, lots of bright colors, of course, but yeah, once again, a really unique feel to the map. And yeah, even though it's a bit chaotic here, I do think these colors go together pretty well. And I really like how Lurker has decorated this map. Also some fun effects with these flying saucer cars in the sky. Yeah, definitely a really cool map from Lurker. Alright, then also in third place we have this map from Supranormal. He created this wonderful landscape, this big mountain here. I love how it jets out above the ground here. Now also the edges of the map are beautifully decorated with all these ruins pieces. I think they work pretty well for a crumbly mountain. Now it's also the Bobkart track here, and yeah, I quite like its layout. Maybe some more dinghy slide track could have been used, but I do think it looks pretty nice. Also quite like these helixes, how they were decorated. And yeah, I also really like the color changes that the ride makes. Here there's some gray rocks, so the track here is also gray. Here it's a little bit more reddish or brown, kind of fits in with the trees here. Yeah, that's just really nicely done. Now there's also this big bridge over here, diagonal bridge. It does look a little bit weird how the guests are walking over it in this zigzag pattern. But yeah, I'm not really sure how else this could have been done. It's quite the challenge to make a diagonal sloped bridge like this. And then here I also love the way the station for this ride looks. That's also just beautifully done. Yeah, a wonderful entry from Supranormal. Now there's just 2 entries remaining. I will first show both of them, and after that I will reveal which one is the winner of this round. Now, before we do that, we actually had a bonus question for all the voters to leave some some words of praise for the glorious leader. So yeah, let's just show a few of them. Now, Madashawk wrote a few words to praise the glorious leader of this community. Jenman227 wrote, "How do I even begin? A glorious leader, just a wonderful man. The amount of time and effort he puts into this work is so much appreciated, and I thank him for that. He's been super supportive and helpful for new players like myself and others. He's always willing to do what's right, not to mention he's also an incredibly talented builder. Thank you so much, The Brew. You're the best." Lurker says, "Dirklink clearly gives up things like sleep, eating and sanity to run an inhuman amount of contests. I don't think anything short to nuclear war will stop him at this point." Mega Subat writes, "You've received an award for being the most beautiful surfer in the country." Oh, that's nice. P2 writes, "The dialect and tones of your sweet Dutch vocals soothe my soul. All hail the glorious leader, may they build a red and white track texture sculpture in your honor." Hex writes, "Llama noise." Fitval writes, "I heard you smell really nice." And Ballpit Warrior writes, "Oh great leader, how shall I suck thy toes? I wished to suck at the forbidden toes." Okay, now I'm slightly concerned. Alright, let's go check out the last 2 entries for this round. Alright, the first possible winner is an entry from Isao and Timmy Tuner, and they created this map with a really nice aesthetic. It is kind of dark, and they used this color palette to make the water look really bright. I think that gives the map a really nice look, kind of magical. Now I also like how the ride actually also stands out in this map with this color. Also just an open air station, which you can find on some of these real Bobkart coasters, which I think is a pretty nice touch. Oh, and then for the ride layout, lots of dinghy slide track, which I think is a nice choice. They also made some of these larger curves, but there they actually had to use a combination of other tracks to make it look like this, because the bobsleigh coaster track doesn't have these large curves. Not really sure if it's a great choice to do it like this, but it does give them the ability to do these larger turns. I really like the layout for the ride, and I also like how it interacts with these other rides, like this pair of drop towers here, which do this funky up and down dance here. And there's also some other cool rides. I also love how it rotates around this Enterprise here. That's also really nicely done. And yeah, this map just looks amazing. And a really nice interaction all throughout the park with this ride. That's really nicely done. I also love the buildings in the map and the landscaping. I mean, these cliffs here just look incredible. Also love, for example, how they made this swing ride here with this Colosseum here as the base for it. Yeah, some really nice tricks were used in this map, and this team just did an incredible job. Alright, and finally here we have the entry from Onda23. Now he made this really cool entry, kind of in a Roman style, it looks like. Now, first off, I just love the way that Onda23 did the map edge decoration. This just looks so cool with these horses. I believe they're just these horse statues, but recolored in the void color. And they were pasted in front of this wall, and that just looks so awesome. But also the map edge over here next to the water, that's also just really nicely done. Now, of course, there's also a Bobkart in this entry. Now, the station for this ride, just incredible. Also, all the landscaping, the gardens around it, that's just amazing. Here you can see one of these vehicles leave the station. Now, the landscaping here, I mean, I love the rock work here. You can see some of these trees and the bushes were also used as rocks here. And that just looks incredible. I love the way this temple is positioned here inside, partly inside the rocks. Also some nice color effect here, with the part inside being a darker color. Also here, yeah, it's a really nice little roof for the ride. There's just such cool effects everywhere. I just love how we did this tunnel. Once again with some darker track inside, just to give this the shadow effect. Yeah, it looks like Under 23 just yeah, put great attention to details everywhere. Now here's another cool trick. Here you can see these all these planks here, and they're actually made with invisible rowing boats. I'm not really sure if I can show you properly. Probably not. But yeah, all these rowing boats here have been recolored. I'm just going to recolor the vehicles, see what it does. Here you can see it's actually all these rowing boats. No, I probably recolored it in the wrong color, but yeah, that's how it's done. Really cool trick, and we're definitely going to see more of this in the future contest. I'm sure of that. Yeah, and here's a beautiful ship. Yeah, just beautiful details everywhere, and yeah, I just love all of the stuff that Under 23 put in this map. Beautiful entry. Alright, now it's time to reveal which one of these last two entries is the winner of this round. Is it this entry from Under 23? Or is it the entry from Isao and Timmy Tuner? And the winner of the Bobkart contest is... Under 23. Now, this was a beautiful entry. It scored quite a bit higher than the second place entry. And yeah, the amount of detail in this map is just incredible. We don't often see that. And yeah, I think this is a well-deserved winner of the round. But I have to say, the other entries were also really nice. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed watching these entries, please give the video a like. It would really help out my channel. And I would love to hear in the comments which one of these entries is your favorite. And if you want to see more videos like these, you can always subscribe. I think we can end this video with a ride on this winning Bobkart. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.